Hi guys, good morning and thanks for joining. So in the last class, we discussed about log integration methods and also we started about a couple of definitions. So far we completed two. One is aggregation and the second one is parsing. So we'll continue from there. So next one is normalization. What is normalization and what is raw log? Whatever raw log is there, if you want to break that one into smaller pieces, or we can say that rescaling of the log otherwise. Rescaling of the log is called as normalization. What is meant by rescaling of the log? So here, whatever different fields of the raw log it has, that one we have to break into multiple pieces. So that is called normalization. What is the example of for that one? Rescaling of the log is called as normalization. For example, take one of the raw log. So this is one of the raw log. This belongs to one of the HTTP oriented, web browser oriented, one of the raw log. This one, if you want to rescale into normal pieces, or if you are break that one into multiple, this is like a basically overall payload, overall entire raw log, this one. And how we can rescale this one into, so our understandable format basically, rescaling we can do that. So what is the IP address? What is the IP address?
192.
Yeah, 192. 163, 168, sorry, 168
That
dot
one
one
dot
dot
10.
10. And what is event timestamp?
27th
27
April
April
22,
2024.
Yes.
Oh.
So 27th April 2024.
14:25, 12.
Yeah. 1425 under 12 seconds. And what is the HTTP request method name?
Get.
Yes. Request method. This is the way how to analyze the logs. Whenever if you want to do the security incident investigation and the analysis side, log analysis side, so each and every log you have to analyze. So by understanding this one, you should say what happened exactly, from which log sources logs it is integrated. Can you say what is the, okay, so log sources log here, log sources are, log sources name or data source name?
Web application log.
Exactly, web application log, this one. Okay. And here get method. And first and foremost, whenever you are receiving the log analysis side, you can verify the what is the data source, and also you can verify what the action is very, very important. Whether the data source action it is showing as a block or quarantine or allow or alert. So these parameters you have to validate. In case respect to data source action it is showing as a block, what is the final conclusion? In
It's a
case
malicious.
data source or log source action, it is showing as a block. What the conclusion? Simple words.
It's already been in the list of
Blacklisted.
It's already block listed. Whether it's a false positive or true positive or false negative or true negative.
it's a true positive.
Is a true positive. Example, okay, I will give practical scenario. One of the malware it is received by EDR tool, and that
Okay.
alert has come in the EDR logs. That EDR logs are integrated to SIEM tool. EDR action showing as a block. Now you can say whether it's a false positive or true positive. I'm repeating once again.
So basically alert has been there and also action also been taken, right?
Yeah, action. What is the action I said?
Block.
Yeah, what is mean by action is by block. Something got compromised. Something got compromised is called as. Something got compromised is called as a false positive or true positive or false negative or true negative.
True positive.
Not compromise. True positive itself.
True positive. So in this scenario, whenever, so we have to do the investigation, that is different story. By seeing the respective data source action, we can say or we can conclude, but we need evidence as well, but we can conclude that so it is a false positive. Example, firewall. one of the malicious URL accessed by end user. Firewall is already blocked that activity. Now all these logs are integrated to SIEM tool, and one of the alert is triggered. Okay, it's related to URL malicious activity. Now firewall event timestamp and firewall IP address and log source IP address and username, user IP address, and so firewall action it will show like a packet is denied or packet is blocked. What the conclusion now?
The true positive.
True
False
positive.
positive. False positive.
False positive. Priyanka, why are getting confusion? So true positive meaning real it's happened, but so already something got compromised is called true positive. False positive meaning here already our firewall is blocked that activity. So even though it is a legitimate content, our tool is blocked that activity. We can say it is a false positive. Okay. So what is the conclusion here now? Whenever something you're receiving as a data source or log source action is showing as a block, you can consider a false positive and gather the evidences related to logs and re-verify and recheck in the respective open source tool like virustotal.com or MX tool or URL scan or Cisco Talos. There are a lot of other open source tools we have. At the time of the investigation, I will discuss all those. So finally take that evidence as well and make a summary of the report, and finally you can close the incident. So this is the way. So first and foremost, whenever any security alert is triggered, you have to go with the data source action. What is the data source action or log source action? It is defined. Okay, please keep this one in mind. Next one, here, what is the path? What is the path?
Slash index.
Slash index.
Dot
Dot HTML.
Index.html is a path. And what is the, okay, so 200.1.0.2 for anyone can say what is 200.1.0.2 for?
200 bits.
200 bits? No.
So 1024 bits and
Okay, so size of the packet or HTTP size is
1024.
1024.
Version is 1.1.
Yeah, HTTP version is 1.1. Okay.
200, I think, is it a port?
Port number.
No. Already we
No,
discussed this concept.
HTTP action 200 sequence. It could be success.
Success.
Wait a second. I'll take it.
Status is okay. HTTP code, that one basically 200.
Right.
Okay, so HTTP code is 200. So this is the way whenever any security alert is triggered, you have to do the log analysis. So what is the log source? Logs are triggered, and each and every log you have to analyze. You have to break that one. So this breakdown or rescaling of the log is called as a normalization. Okay. So next one is the indexing. So indexing basically for structured form, indexing and also querying like a hand in hand. If these two like a hand in hand, then only we can do the querying option. So what is meant by indexing? Basically, it will provide the process of organizing and storing the data, the process of organizing and also storing of the data in a way that makes easily retrievable, that makes it easily retrievable from the database. So that is called indexing. So whatever data, okay, it is storing in the backend database. So if you want to organize that data, and also if you want to store that data, so how we can retrieve that data? Using query, we can retrieve the data. So that how to organize the data from the structured or unstructured format, and how to store the data, that entire format we can call it as indexing part. Okay. So now most of the cases, every SIEM tool vendor, okay, so what is the indexing normally they will follow? They'll follow default indexing. Every SIEM tool vendor. Note, vendor will follow processing of the or storing of the data into processing and also storing in the default indexing. So default indexing basically whatever sorry, whatever product development they have done at the time of the tool or tool development they have done. So default indexing they will follow. For example, star. So star, when you are referring the SIEM tool terminology, pool of the logs. From this pool of the logs, so where the data is stored. Okay, so this is the way how the it is organized, and also it is storing. That entire process we can call it as indexing. Now from this pool of the logs, if you want to retrieve any data, what we have to do? What we have to do if you want to retrieve? So storing of the logs and also processing of the organizing either structured format or maybe so unstructured format is called as the indexing part. So most of the case structured format. If you want to retrieve that one now, we have to use another process or another process name is called as, what is that?
Querying.
Exactly, querying. For storing and organizing, we'll call it as indexing. To retrieve that data, we can call it as a querying part. Asking the question, by query and getting the data from the indexed log is called as query. So for this one, each and every vendor, so they are using different types of query languages. So those query languages are, example, here vendor and also query language. And when we have to use this one also, I will explain, give me some time. From the pool of the logs, as I said, pool of the logs as a data lake or data pool. From this data lake and data pool, if you want to retrieve the data by using query, we will use different types of query languages. So those query languages are vendor and also here query language. First one is IBM QRadar. So backend, it will use two different types of query languages. One is AQL, aerial query database or aerial query language. Enter a question, guys. In this similar PGSQL, Postgres, structured, language, structured query language. So next one is Splunk. Splunk is, it will use SPL, Splunk programming language. So next one, we have a logarithm, LR. LR means logarithm. It will use SQL. So structured query language. In the similar way, Exabeam. So same thing, structured query language. And we have RSA, same structured query language. And we have ELK tool, same thing. And HP ArcSight or Microfocus. Most of the vendors will support structured query language only. And Azure Sentinel, KQL, Kusto query language. So using these query languages, we can retrieve. And also if you want to do the deeper investigation or drill down investigation, So something is missing on the alert notification. For those scenarios, we have to do the query. So 90% of the cases, all the data can be triaged in the alert itself. Maybe couple of times the data will be missed out in the triage of the alert. In that scenario, what we have to do, we have to come here and we have to write a query, and according to that one, we have to get the details. Okay, so kuch to query language. So these are all the vendors and also respect to query languages. So if you are going for Azure Sentinel, most of the cases they will ask like, do you know kuch to query language? Do you know KQL queries? Okay, so especially Azure Sentinel, they will ask kuch to query language. So that we can see later. So that is about querying part here. Next one is correlation. What is this correlation? So we have to link one event with the another event. So that is called correlation, simple words. Then what is correlation rule? We will see. Linking one event with another event. Or mapping one event with another event. Is called as correlation. Now we have correlation rule. What is correlation rule? Here policy. Whenever we are referring the so rule is nothing but policy, like a condition. So what is that condition here? Correlation rule. Same thing, linking one event with another event. So like one event may be normal activity and another event is maybe abnormal activity. So now what SIEM tool, it will correlate. So normal activity versus abnormal activity. Now condition will match, and based on that condition, alert will be triggered. For example, so event ID 4625. Event ID 4625 belongs to login failure. It's abnormal activity from the Windows machine. This is one of the event. Now event ID 4624, it is a successful login or login success. So now what SIEM tool correlation it will do? One is normal activity and the second one is abnormal activity. Always it will correlate one abnormal activity with the normal activity or one event with another event. In case these two are mismatched, and based on the policy or based on the condition or based on the rule or based on the Boolean algebra or based on the algorithm whatever we created, it is like a mismatch now. Based on that mismatch and based on the condition and based on the algorithm and based on the Boolean algebra whatever we defined, part of the policy or rule, automatically alert will be triggered. So that is called correlation rule. So mapping one event with another event means this is the one. This is one event and this is another event. One is abnormal activity and second one normal activity. If both are normal activity, it will not do anything. So there is no mismatch and there is no condition and everything is same and alert will not be triggered. So that is called correlation rule. Linking one event with another event.
Here, the abnormal activity should be first, right? In order to trigger the alert.
Yes, correct. Mapping one event with the another event based on the condition or policy or algorithm is called as correlation rule. Okay, so we have every SIEM tool vendor has a dedicated engine for this correlation rule creation. So that one we can call it as a correlation rule engine. Okay, so what is CRE? Correlation rule engine. So every SIEM tool vendor, it will maintain to create a correlation rule. So that correlation rule database engine is called as a correlation rule engine. Every SIEM tool vendor for creating rules, it will maintain database or engine is called as correlation rule engine, CRE engine. All vendor they will call the correlation rule engine except one of the vendor, that is called logarithm. Logarithm terminology, we will not call it as a correlation rule engine, but we can call it AIE engine, advanced intelligence engine. Okay, so remaining all other vendors, they will call CRE engine only, but except logarithm. So how we discuss same way. So all the vendors, they will call common event format. IBM Curator, they will call leaf. In the same as it is, all the vendors of the SIM tool, they will call it as a correlation tool engine, except logarithm. Logarithm, they will call it as AIE engine. So note, in the logarithm terminology or logarithm vendor, CRE engine name is called as AIE, Advanced Intelligence Engine. Now, so it's one of the very, very favorite interview question, guys. Regularly, we can expect this one. So this correlation rule, or we can call it use case also. So regularly, we can expect this question. So do you know how to create correlation rule? Or did you create anytime correlation rule? It's a regularly they will ask, or do you know how to create use case? So this is the way how they'll ask. So there are two different types of correlation rule. Normally, every vendor will support. So same way we have seen in the Portinet, same way we have seen in the EDR, same way we have seen in the so other vendors as well. So by default, whatever rule they are providing, that is called as a default rule. And if you want to do the customization, that is called as a customized one, customized rule. But default one, nobody will ask. So if you are creating any new rule for the threat intelligence feeds, whatever we are receiving, so that is called as customized correlation rule. So what are the two different types of correlation rules or use cases we can create? So there are,
Default and custom.
yeah, default and customized one. There are two different types of correlation rules. One is default one. So every vendor will support by default more than 500 plus correlation rules. Every vendor will support out of box correlation rules in their database. Okay. So second one is customized correlation rule. So this is what they will expect from you. So this one we have to create according to our requirement side. So tomorrow maybe one of the Lockbit 3.0 ransomware attack is appearing. For that one, we have to create a correlation rule. Or maybe already existing correlation rule is available and that is not based on your requirement. Your requirement business is different and whatever by default, okay, so tool is supporting is different. In that scenario, we can go and we can do the customization also. That is also possible. One is dedicatedly creating a new rule and second one is already existing rule we have to modify. That is called customization. So here, create a new rule or modify existing rule based on our business requirement. For example, if I want to give practical scenario, take maybe brute force attack or multiple authentication login failure attempts. So by default, so what SIM tool vendor of this Splunk, for example, we are using Splunk. Maybe Splunk is provided default rule as in 5 minutes time period. So 10 attempts or 10 login failures are occurring. Alert should be triggered. I'm repeating once again. So in 10 minutes time period. So that is the time frame. So 5 times authentication login failures occurring. Alert should be triggered. So this is not for based on the security best practices. So whether, okay, so 10 minutes end user will wait to do the authentication. Example, you forgot the password related to your Gmail or Facebook. So immediately you will try. So now, if you want to do the customization, if you want to remodify whatever existing Splunk tool is defined by Splunk, that is also good. We can call customization part. Now, so as per my requirement, in 1 minute time period, 3 login failure attempts is appearing, or 5 login failures are appearing. Account should be locked out or alert should be triggered. So this is the way I'm modifying whatever existing default rule is provided by Splunk. So that is also called customization part. Okay. So this is Splunk is provided and this is based on my requirement. So think about logically and create all these existing default rules. Already we have seen in the Portinet also, default one they provided. Couple of things they missed out. But based on our requirement, we can go and we can modify that existing default rules. Same way, that is for firewall side. Even it is applicable to SIEM tool also. So whatever default is providing, all the default tools we have to validate, whether it is matching to our business requirement or not. In case it is not matching, we have to do the customization part. Okay, so this is called customization rule. Not only that one, regularly threat intelligence feeds it will appear, new attacks it will appear to us all over the worldwide or across the universe. In that scenario also, if you want to create any new rule, okay, so then we have to use Boolean algebra condition or algorithm, or maybe so a couple of and or not related. So what is it called is conditions, and finally we can create so this correlation rule. Okay, so this is one of the favorite interview question, guys. Basically correlation rules are implemented by implementation team. Maximum correlation rules can be implemented by implementation team, but even though they will expect, do you know how to create correlation rule, or did you create anytime correlation rule, or do you know how to create use case, or did you create anytime use case? So this is the way they will ask different ways how to, okay, so create a correlation rule or how to create use case. So along with the log integration method, one of the regularly asked question is, do you know how to create correlation rule? These two are complete implementation level. Log onboarding also implementation level, even correlation rule creation also implementation level. But at least they want to check whether do you have any idea or not. Yes, same, you have to give the answer. So I'm working as L1 analyst. I'm working as L2 analyst. So I don't have the access to create a correlation rule, but I know how to create correlation rule. For example, you can take one of the correlation rule example, and you can explain that correlation rule. We can discuss about couple of correlation rules. Logarithm side, we can discuss correlation rule. Splunk side, we can discuss about correlation rule. In the similar way, IBM QRadar side, we can discuss about correlation rule. We'll discuss about around 30. Whatever you like, take only one. For every inter, you can explain that one only. Okay. So that is the way how they can ask about correlation rule. It's a compulsory inter question, guys.
RK?
Yeah,
So
please.
if at all we are doing this correlation rule before putting this rule into action, do we need to test it?
Yes, we have to test it. So first we have to do the testing in the testing environment. So that one, what is my testing environment meaning here? Take one of the test machine like your laptop and create correlation rule and test that one using in the testing machine like a free trial version or somewhere you can download, or you can create a sandboxing environment, and everything is successful. Then only you can raise a change request and implement in the production.
So for that, I need to take help of red teamers because if I am a defender side, I don't know how to brute force something, right?
Not exactly. Why? Because maybe you can create one of the testing environment, maybe with your laptop. So you can create one more application or maybe one more database, or maybe you can trial out free trial version of the SIM tool, and you can integrate your Windows laptop to that SIM tool, and wantedly you can create. So you can create one of the correlation rule and you can test it. So that is like a sandboxing environment.
For that also, so if at all I wanted this, which you said, right? It's a 4625 and 4624. For that I wanted. So
Yeah.
you said for the first 5 minutes or 1 minute, you'll have
Mm.
5 logins, but
Mm.
something like people will start first with a incorrect password and they will try after 5 to 10 minutes. So this
Yeah.
is what I wanted. So for that, I
Mm.
have to do a multiple login attempts, right?
Multiple login attempts from the different users means yes, you are right. So in that scenario, yes, it is required other teams help as well, especially on the red team side. When it is required red team side, for application oriented WASP top 10 category of the testing side, for those things, yes, we need red team help.
Okay. So for this, whom should we contact? Because we are involving some other people in our
Yeah, we
forensic.
have to involve penetration testing team.
So do we have any hierarchy for that so that we should
No, just
contact?
we have to, what we have to do, we need help and we have to raise a case with the other team, like a application security team, and
Hmm.
they will come and they will support us whenever it is required, especially on the voice top 10 side.
Uh,
And one more thing, most of the cases, this correlation rule, in my practical experience, I have seen, most of the cases, implementation team only they will create, not even L3. So L3
okay.
team also will not create. So implementation team only they will create. But even though, why they want to test whether they have any knowledge or not. So first of all, even you are joining as L1 or L2, L3, you don't have admin access at all. So, but they want to test whether do you have skill or not. In future, if something they want to create and they are giving administrative access to you, so that time it is helpful for us. That is the reason they will test it everything. Okay, and what is fine tuning here? Fine tuning is depending on the several parameters, guys. So fine tuning meaning here, it is not only just on the correlation rule creation. Fine tuning is fine tuning is a maybe 10 words of the letter, 10 letters of the word, but it contains a lot of the meaning. What is the fine tuning meaning basically? It is more than L3 level. It's like almost subject matter expert. We can say SME. So this person should have the multiple skills also. What he has to do, he has to take care of the couple of roles and responsibilities, like one is reducing the false positive. So what are false positives? Regular alerts are triggered. So he has to concentrate on why so many false positives are coming. Is there any chance? Can we compare with the existing past data or historical data, or can we create any query or condition so that automatically can we make using SOAR capability? All these false positives can be reduced or not. That is one of the thing. In the similar way, log onboarding also will fall under the fine tuning. So as I said, log sources and data sources is not like a constant in nature. So these log sources and data, tomorrow one of the new server is building by our Windows server team or Linux server team. In that scenario, what we have to do? So we have to, okay, so onboard that log source also. So for those scenarios, so we have to provide the collector agent to the server team, and we have to deploy the agent, and we have to specify the source IP, destination IP, port number, and also in case logs are reflecting in the SIEM tool, that's well and good. In case logs are not reflecting, we have to troubleshoot. For example, I took as a server log onboarding. So additionally, correlation rule creation. So even whatever customized one, default one, if you want to do the customization based on our requirement, so our business requirement basically, what our policies, first we have to know about policies also. What are the policies we define as per the governance and risk and compliances? Then only you can do the customization part. Okay. So you have to read about all those documentation, and according to the our organization business requirement, we can go and we can create correlation rule side. So additionally, one more fine tuning session here, validate existing correlation rule. Quarterly once you have to do audit. What is mean by this auditing? Basically, I created 500 correlation rule or maybe 700 correlation rule. It is available in the overall SIEM tool. Whether really these 700 different types of alerts are triggering on the daily basis in the past 1 month or past 3 months. So which are all the, okay, so correlation rules or alerts or use case it is triggered. Identify those alerts. You have already incident tracker. So each and every L1 team and L2 team and L3 team, they will fill up their whatever instance they are working on. Just you can do the pivot table like Excel sheet, and you can see what are the regular alerts we are receiving. Out of 700, maybe maximum, we will receive only 50 to 100 in between only. Anyways, you can verify all those. So from past 3 months or past 6 months or past 1 year, take example data 1 year, whatever correlation rule you created, whatever use case we created, it is not hitting at all. That alert did not see at all from past 1 year. That one we have to disable. Okay, why we have to disable? Anyone? Why we have to disable? If you
Can you
don't
repeat?
disable, what will happen?
To avoid
Question.
the false positive alerts.
No, not about to avoid the false positives.
To decrease the memories.
To decrease the,
Events per second. Yes.
no, basically performance. Otherwise, each and every rule it will be validated by SIEM tool. So there are 700 rules are available in the overall condition side. So each and every rule it will consume so much of the performance oriented. SIEM tool also has the bandwidth utilizations and also performance utilization, RAM utilization and everything. For every condition, if it is validating all these 700 rules, it will become, okay, so completely crashed or damaged. So that is the reason what we have to do. So what quarterly once you can do the audit from the past 1 year. So which correlation rule it is did not hit. So can we disable that rule or not? We have to do that one by the by. So this one will be taken care by fine tuning guy. Okay. So this is one of the thing why we have to do that one, because whenever any alert wants to trigger, it has to verify all the conditions. Verifying that all those conditions, it will take longer performance issues. Checking that condition or maybe checking that rule, going and each example we have already discussed about firewall rule validation, top to bottom approach. So our top to bottom validation, whenever the condition is meeting, automatically the packet is dropped there itself, or packet is stopped there itself. But here validating all these conditions will take longer time and performance maybe it will increase. SIEM tool we have to purchase for the higher end model, and also once again it is depending the cost and price as well. So this is also one of the validation we have to do regularly. And
Sir,
so yeah, please.
is there any table will be applied for this correlations? Because if this rule is once affected, twice affected, like that.
Yeah, that is what you have to maintain everything like a manual one. So whatever, okay, so impacted wise there will not be any impact. Only one thing, so you have to make sure that data should be perfect or accurate, not perfect, accurate. So you have to maintain the data should be accurate. And as I said, you should be required manual effort. What is the manual effort here? So as I said, take 1 year data, everything. And so whatever alerts are triggered, all those data, make it like a accurate one. Yes, obviously, if you don't maintain the accurate data and unfortunately, for example, take by wrongly you have done the type error or maybe wrongly you provided the all the data is inaccurate. So for example, password spray attack. It's one of the attack, or multiple authentication login failure from the same user. Multiple authentication failures from the same source IP. Multiple authentication failures from different users. So this is the way there are so many A correlation rule normally we will create. One is same source IP, one is the same source username, one is the different username and different IPs. All those we will create. For example, maybe so all these are okay. So receiving regularly. By mistake, you missed out this one, password spray attack. It is coming regularly, but by mistake you forgot this one. So this one you disabled. So whether any alert will be triggered, okay, so if you are disabling this alert
No.
or maybe use case,
No.
if attacker is trying to do, is there impact or not?
Yes, it will impact.
Yes, it is. So that is the reason. So whenever you are taking the data, that data should be accurate, and please verify one or maybe two or thrice also. So all the alerts are properly, whatever 1 year or maybe 6 months or maybe 3 months or quarterly ones. So this data and these alerts are fine. Not only you, please check with other team members as well. So whenever you are disabling these rules, okay, so whether these rules are okay, regularly whatever we are receiving, can we disable this one? Please cross verify with other team members as well. Then only how to do the disable. Otherwise, we can miss out the security incident. If we are missing the security incident, if that is a true positive, whether our system will get compromised or not. Yes, it is. So obviously impact will be there. Okay. So this is one of the tool. And one more thing, once you are deploying SIEM tool, do you think that immediately, so SIEM tool will go the live and it will do the operation, take care of the operation?
No.
Basically, it will take approximate 5 weeks to 15 weeks. If you want to become stabilized SOC operation, after deploying the SIEM tool, it will take minimum 5 weeks to 15 weeks. Then only SIEM tool will understand about overall environment. So that is called like a OBA, user entity behavior analytics. What end user is doing, what is entity is doing, what is the action and what is the activity. So it will to understanding overall environment, that may be endpoint side, network side, cloud side, application side, database side, server side, everything. To understanding itself, it will take approximate 5 weeks to 15 weeks. In this time period, we'll get a lot of false positive. Not only that one, there are a lot of parsing related issues will occur. SIM tool stabilization, it will take 5 weeks to 15 weeks. Nothing but, so around 1 month to 3 months time period. So these 3 months time period, so what are the different types of alerts we are triggering? So we have to validate that one also. And so where it is existing SOC already from more than 1 year it is deployed, it's okay. From the scratch, if you are doing now itself, you have to take care of these validations also. So whatever correlation rule we created, whether it is hitting all those correlation rule and correctly alarms are triggering or not. So that we have to validate. As I said, initial days will get the lot of false positives. One more thing is parsing related issues. And also normalization related issues. What is parsing here? So, and what is normalization? All the fields it will not appear. So for example, IP address, one of the attacker. So take example of this raw log itself, or otherwise I'll give new one. So one of the phishing email triggered as a spear phishing to one of the user, one of the end user. His name is maybe Mahesh. Now, event timestamp. In the raw log, all the data is available. But whenever it is making the normalization part or parsing side issues, it is triggered at maybe 28th September 2024 at 9 a.m. Okay. So then victim IP. Now the Mahesh example 10.10.10.1. Username. It is missing. Okay. But raw log it contains Mahesh. So in the similar way, attacker IP where the phishing email is received. 1.1.1.1. Okay. Email gateway action. We are using phishing, email security or email gateway action as showing as a allow. Nothing but that email is delivered successfully to Mahesh from the phishing email attacker IP address 1.1.1.1. Attacker domain name test.tcs.com. Okay. So next one, victim domain name of the email tcs.com. So this is the overall. Next one, payload, everything it is available. Now wherever couple of fields are missing, if you don't have the that sufficient data, we don't know so exactly what is the user and what is the payload and what is the domain name or what is the authentication failure or success, it depending on attack to attack or scenario to scenario. If something the fields are missing, initial days, as I said, initial days meaning here after installing the or after deploying the SIEM tool, there are a lot of all these fields will be missed out. Raw log contain everything, but unfortunately, parser log or normalized log does not contain all these fields. Okay, in that scenario, what we have to do, we have to resolve these parsing issues. Otherwise, we will do or we will end up with the wrong incident investigation. So for the namesake, we can do incident investigation and we'll say it's a false positive. If that is really true positive, something got compromised, lateral movement it will happen, and attacker will maintain the persistence or foothold in our organization side, and maybe regularly he will hiding, that is called defense evasion, and continually maybe he will take our data. So this is the way lot of impact will be there from the business point of view. So to avoid all these issues, we have to fix normalized issues as well as pass related issues as well. Okay, so that is initially it will become lot of parse issues as well as normalized issues. So that is also we have to fix it. So this is also another fine tuning issue. Okay, and creating SOPs. After deploying SIEM tool, whatever alerts we are triggering regularly, so we have to create either SOP or playbook or runbook. So we have to monitor at least 2 months or 3 months. And after identifying the regular alerts, what we are receiving, for all those alerts, we have to create playbook or SOPs or runbooks. All these roles and responsibilities will fall under fine tuning. Whether he's doing any investigation here, whether he's doing any incident investigation here.
No.
Yeah, this is like more than implement. It's almost like implementation. That is called fine tuning. And couple of times he has to do threat hunting also. What is the threat hunting here? So threat hunting meaning basically not based on the correlation rule, not based on the condition, not based on the policy, not based on the algorithm. Everything we have to do imagination. Everything we have to like assumption. Everything we have to think like a hypothesis way. Maybe this is possible, like a probability. Maybe that is possible. From for example, if you want to say practical one of the threat hunting example, from fast fast 24 hours, how many login failure attempts are triggered and who has done these failure attempts, whether internal employee has done or maybe external attacker has done. So we have to verify that condition part now. So now I have to use a filtering option. Now I have to use what is that querying option as well to see who has done all these uh, authentication failure login attempts, right? So this is not based on the rule. What I'm doing here, I'm using query language and also I'm using filtering option to check who has done login failure attempts. But correlation rule, when the condition is matching, then only it will give the overall authentication login failure attempts. That as a triggering of the alert notification. So, but what if something is missed out and rule is not hitting properly? whether alert will be triggered. No, it will not trigger the alert notification. And rule you created wrong. That time also alert will not be triggered. We'll think like, okay, we created rule is fine. So sometimes maybe rule will not be triggered properly. So that is also okay issue for us. So that is the reason we have to do threat hunting in manual way. So now for that one, we have to use the queries and we have to use the filtering options. So most of the case, these two options we have to use. So here everything without condition, without policy, without rule, without algorithm, everything we are doing like a probability. Everything like we are doing imagination. Maybe this is possible. Maybe that is possible. So this is called manual threat hunting. And a couple of times we can do automated, but automated don't trust. It's a better to manual way only. Example, VPN authentication login failure attempts. I want to see fast 1 week. Who has done VPN authentication login failure attempts? Whether really these VPN authentication login failure attempt has done by our internal employees or maybe external attackers they have done. And whatever, okay, so manual way you are verifying whether it is matching with the our rules what are we configured. How to do this threat hunting basically, that is separate topic I'm covering here itself. Okay, so example, 1 week VPN authentication failures I want to observe. You can go with manual way. So how we can do manual way? Using any query language or query or maybe filtering option and query option. Gather the data from the pool of the logs, like a log analysis. So you got all the data. Okay, so there are 100. There is no need of data. So you can gather the data from the pool of the logs and you can get it the data. Now, same way, 1 week, whatever VPN authentication login failure attempts are triggered via the SIM tool, correlation rule and use cases you can observe. Okay, so now you are doing manual way, 1 week VPN authentication login failure attempts. One, you are already whatever rule is created, that may be customized one, default one, and you are verifying. Now compare these two datas. Now compare this one, whatever you have done the manual way, and what is the based on the policy. Here we are getting 100. Maybe here we are getting 75. Whether it is mismatch or not. Whether mismatch or not.
Yes, mismatch.
So then whatever rules we are configuring, whether it is working correctly.
No.
Yeah. So this is the way. Now we have to verify each and every attack scenario, manual way of the threat hunting. Okay. Then only we can get the proper data. So then finally, why it is not triggered? What is the reason? You can take this data and you can take this data and what are 25 missing alerts are triggered or 25 authentication login failures are available. Go and verify why in this 75, the 25 is missing. Okay, so that is the way you have to completely do. There are a lot of effort should be required if you want to do threat hunting side. This is the L3 level by the way. Okay, for this one, as I said, we have to use the queries and we have to use the filtering options. So see, querying means don't think like compulsory we need SQL queries. It's not like that. Only 3 to 4 vendors are required querying part. Example, Azure Sentinel is required query languages, and also it is required by Exabeam, and third one is Securonics. For all the vendors, we have to write manual queries. Securonics, this is one of the vendor, and Azure Sentinel, Splunk, and finally we have Exabeam. These vendors only we need queries. Remaining logarithm, IBM QRadar, HP ArcSight, RSA, Event Tracker, Alien Vault, all these vendors, there is no need to write query, everything drop down list. So that is the reason those vendors are very easily. If you want to do instant investigation, even if you want to do threat hunting, but these 4 vendors are dangerous. So because we have to remember the queries, there is no need to remember the queries. Already we have specified queries will be there in the document. We have to do copy paste and we have to check the whether really. So maximum, as I said, 10 to 15 queries will be there, guys. One of my friend is working in Microsoft, and so regularly is a L3 level. Whenever if he wants to do any querying part, so he will verify 10 to 15 queries only for instant investigations. Now he's not even he's doing threat hunting. He's even though he's L3 level, just for instant investigation side, only 10 to 15 queries regularly he's okay. So executing the queries and he's checking the what is the output for deeper investigation side. So Splunk also same thing. So around 50 queries we have, that 50 queries only we will analyze. Exabeam anyway, it's user friendly and not that much in depth. We have to give the queries like a Splunk and Sentinel side. But remaining all other vendors, IBM, Logarithm, and also RSA, Event Tracker, Elin Vault, all these vendors are user friendly. Nothing but we no need to write query. Everything is like a drop down list. Okay. That's why most of the candidates will fear for if they want to attend the interview from these 4 companies or these 4 tools, sorry, these 4 tools. Because it's a compulsory question. Do you know how to write query? Give the couple of examples. Yeah. So this is the way. Anyway, under the threat hunting, we can discuss once again all this topic. So by the way, threat hunting is a part of the L3 level. Threat hunting is a part of the L3 level. So threat hunting also sometimes I will refer under the fine tuning side. So one more thing we should know about SOAR capability, security orchestration and automated response. So for this one, we have to make a automation on the backend. No need to do backend automation. Already we have sufficient modules and licenses are available. Just we have to integrate the logs. Whatever logs are available from the SIEM tool, using syslog port number 514, we have to reroute to SOAR capability licensing option. And now automated response can be taken care by SOAR licensing option. So this SOAR is vary from vendor to vendor. If it is IBM QRadar, we can call it as a IBM Resilient. If it's Exabeam, we can call it Instant Responder. If it is a Splunk, we can call it Phantom. And it is a Palo Alto, we can call it a XOR. And Elin Vault, we can call it Elin Vault SOAR. So vendor to vendor, this terminology, it is different. So what we have to do, we have to, whatever SIEM2 logs are appeared, that logs using port number 514, using syslog server method, we have to integrate the SOAR licensing or SOAR module. Then whenever alert will be triggered, so we have to block the IP address and we have to block the domain name. We have to block the URL link. We have to block the hash value, everything in the SOAR module itself. Then automatically a replication, it will go to backend EDR, backend proxy, backend firewall, backend DNS. We no need to raise a separate ticket to firewall team. We no need to raise a separate ticket to EDR team. We no need to raise a separate ticket to proxy team and so on. Automated response we are taking under the SOAR itself. That replication will go to backend, whatever log sources or data sources are available. So instead of taking 2 days or 3 days overall instant response, now it will take only 1 hour or 2 hours. So that is the way automated response. It will reduce the mean time to identification, detection, and also recovery side. So that is the advantage of the SOAR. Okay. So even SOAR also I'll put under the fine tuning side. SOAR also L3 level, not even L1 and L2. Okay. So that is about what is the fine tuning roles and responsibilities. All these things I'll put under the our roles and responsibilities side of the where I created the Excel sheet. I'm deleting this one right now, or I'll copy paste for my my reference.
RK?
Yeah, please.
So when we are talking about this correlations and all, we can do like incident trend analysis, and then we can perform this, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, based on the threat, that's what I said. Threat intelligence feeds regularly what are we are receiving, and also what are trends it's going on across the universe and globe. What are new attacks are happening. For those attacks also, we have to create correlation rules.
So it's like the top categories. We can take any of the 3 or 5 like that, or we need to check with the overall ones.
Yeah, what is the impact is going more because of
Right.
maybe take example ransom, one of the new ransomware attack is happening, and
Mhm.
what is the impact because of that ransomware attack? How many customers are got compromised? So in the overall, in the news channel, everything we can get it from the dark reading, or
Yeah.
maybe from the YSINT, or from the
Google completely.
hacker news and everything. Yeah. So which one is going the larger impact? Because per day itself, we can get the millions of the attacks. For every attack, if we are creating the correlation rule, it's very difficult for us. So
Yeah.
which one is causing the business impact is more and financial impact is very high? For those things, we have to create correlation rules.
Okay.
Top one, basically. Yes, you are right.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir.
please.
So like we will be configuring with different log source types, right? Like firewall, IPS,
Yes,
IDS.
yes. Yeah.
So like for creating a correlating rule, correlation rule, like no, like in from initial, like for example, if we consider MITRE ATT&CK framework from
Mm,
initial stage to execution stage, like
mm,
there will be many phases.
mm.
So like as we have already integrated with many log sources, we could write one role from firewall, one, I mean like one condition from firewall and one condition from I mean like Windows and all, right?
No, it's not like that. So directly you can create a role. So anyway, all these logs are you are integrating. So for example, couple of times for one attack, multiple log sources will be there. For one attack, multiple log sources will be there. For example, take malware. For malware
Yes.
category of the attack, what are the different types of log sources we do have? We have antivirus
And
or EDR or XDR. In the similar way, even in the firewall also, one of the security profile name is called as the antivirus profile we are configuring. So example, through phishing email malware attachment, any of the email it is appearing. So next generation firewall is another log source. So maybe another log source is email gateway. So phishing email gateway. So it is coming via malware attachment. Okay. And we have malware analysis to like a FireEye or SourceFire and so on. So you can create one, okay, so correlation rule. There is no need to create for each and every log source separate correlation rule. And in case, okay, EDR is maybe bypassed that correlation rule condition or logic. Already we have next generation firewall log sources logs. Even we have email gateway or email security log sources logs. Even we have malware analysis log source logs. Any one of the condition it will meet and it will trigger the alert. There is no need to go for each and every log source and we have to create a correlation rule. But coming back to your question, as I said, I attached one of the document. By the by, event or not, I'm not sure. For log source wise, also we can create a correlation rules. What are the possible ways we can go and we can create a correlation rules? So we have to think about these are all the attacks may be possible. So that one, I'm not sure how many people went through that. I will repeat that one once again. HP arc site, I think. What is the name I given? It's a PDF. Yeah, this is the one. SIM use cases. Maybe I have to make additionally folders wise. So now example take DLP side. So McAfee DLP or McAfee e-policy orchestration. So what are the possible ways we can go and we can create a correlation rule for McAfee side? By the way, there are more than I think 3,000 correlation rules. There are so many, not 3,000, 1,000 to 2,000 in between. All these are.
Okay.
So now you can say According to this one also, we can go and we can create a correlation rule on the log source wise also. Yes, but in you are creating this one also, it's fine. In case it not only through McAfee DLP it will go, even network DLP, example firewall also, in case McAfee is missed out or our endpoint DLP is missed out, and even we have network DLP as well, part of our firewall. So firewall logs also it will go and it will hit this condition and it will generate the alert notification. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all these different types of use cases we have to create by the by. So that's why I said out of the box. So every vendor it will support by default. There are so many correlation rule. So even though based on our regular trends and based on our threat intelligence feeds, whatever it's happening across the world, we have to create correlation rule. And go back to here. One more thing is filtering. So filtering is depending on several parameters. A couple of documents I will upload, guys. So by today evening, logarithm correlation rule, IBM Curator correlation rule, Splunk correlation rule. Please go through all those. And once we are going to SIM tool, all those things we can discuss. But as I said, there is no need to remember 50 to 100 correlation rule. One correlation rule you can remember and explain that correlation rule logic only. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of confusion. Okay. So in the logarithm side, it'll provide 31, I think. In the IBM side, around 5 to 6 or 7. In this Splunk, around 20 or 25 in between. So you can go through any one and you can explain that one at the time of the interview. It's okay. Filtering is based on completely, okay, so it is based on the time, it is based on the log source, it is based on the timestamp, it is based on the attack wise, it is based on the source IP, destination IP, and so on. Filtering is based on time or based on data source or log source or based on victim IP. It's everything drop down list basically, or based on attack name or based on attacker IP address extra. There are so many ways we can do filtering. So filter meaning here, example, one of the alert is triggered related to phishing email. What is the log source name? Phishing email side. What is log source name? What is log source name or data source name for phishing email?
Email solution.
Email gateway, right?
Email gateway.
Email gateway or SMTP server. Email gateway or email security solution or SMTP server. So now in the pool of the data sources, I integrate 500 data sources. Now I have to filter 2 data sources. One is SMTP server and second one is email gateway. Example, SMTP server, I'm using Office 365 and email gateway, I'm using Proofpoint. Now I have to filter out to email gateway as a Proofpoint and also I have to filter out SMTP server as a Office 365. So these two I can filter. Now I can get whatever logs I received related to that alert. So this is the way how we can do the filtering option. That is based on the log source wise or data source wise. Even in the similar way, one alert is triggered and you don't have the full-fledged details and parsing related issues occurred. That's what we discussed even finding sign also. But raw log contains all the logs. I mean, raw log contains all the fields. Now, if you want to filter that one, what we have to do? So when the incident is triggered, take that time and filter based on the time wise now. So when that incident is triggered, maybe at 9 o'clock or 9:30 occurred. So filter that 9 o'clock or 9:30. Then automatically whatever 9:30 alert is triggered, go to that log and see. So what, okay, in-depth analysis, whether can you get the full-fledged details of the logs or not. So this is the way filter we can do several ways basically. I can show practically this one. Okay, filter we can do in the several ways. Filtering we can do based on the timestamp or based on the log source, based on the victim IP and based on the, okay, so action of the tool. There are different ways we can do filter. Okay, So that's all for morning. And today I will take at 5 o'clock. And we can discuss about threat hunting, threat intelligence speed, SOAR capability, and OBA capability. These 4 we can discuss in the evening class. Okay. So whoever wants interviews, just you can pick me. I'm ready at 11 o'clock.
RK, this filtering, where do we do? Actually, when we are doing in Workshop, it is similar to that only, right?
Yeah, similar as it is. Same way, yeah, drop down list will be there. Once we are going to SIEM tool, I can explain. Yeah, same way,
Yeah.
how the filtering is there in the Wireshark, the drop down will be there, right? Same as it
Hmm.
is.
So this filtering only pertains to SIM tool, or even we can do it in EDR also?
Each and every tool we can do filtering.
Okay.
Filtering option is available for each and every tool.
Yeah, filtering, searching.
Yes, yeah,
Searching.
filtering, searching, querying is available for each and every tool. Yeah. Okay. So these definitions are very important, guys. Please don't ignore these definitions. And yeah, please ping me and whoever wants the interview. Otherwise, I have to call every person. I have to ask now. That is also I will do. But anyone is ready. So I'm available at 11 o'clock, 11 to 5 in between. And as I said yesterday itself, 9 to 11 also for me, fine. Evening, night. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. See you evening at 5 p.m. And evening is very, very important class. Don't miss out. Threat hunting, threat intelligence speed, SOAR capability, and also UBA capability. It's L3 level, but it's very, very important. Okay. Yesterday interview question also, what is entity and what is UBA? What is meant by UBA? What you know about UBA? Okay, what is threat hunting definition? So these are the questions they can expect. Don't skip the evening class. Okay, guys, then thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.